Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If today is your first time on here, thank you so much for stopping by. To my return subscribers, I love you so much. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please hit on the subscribe button and do not forget to turn on the notification bell so you'll be notified whenever we post beautiful tutorials. On today's tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to make this crisscross top or blouse without a dart or any pocket illusion. Okay, so we're going to learn this first before learning the one that has a dart. Okay, so let's get right into today's tutorial. First of all, I'm going to get my pattern paper. So get your own pattern paper and fold it in two. All right, so I'm going to start with my starting line. From my starting line, I'm going to get my bust point. After that, I'll get my under bust. These are my vertical points, my under bust, my waistline, and the full length of this dress. So now the full length of this dress, I want it to be more than 27, but that is what I have. 27 is what I have on the pattern paper. So when cutting on my fabric, I'm going to add extra 9 inches to get the length that I want. All right, so for now, that's my full length, and I will go ahead to mark my button allowance. So after marking the line horizontally, I'm going to get 2 inches for my button allowance. Remember, this is a shirt top. All right, it has a shirt, like a shirt style, so that's going to be my button allowance. All right, 2 inches for my button allowance. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to divide my shoulder by 2, come down by 1 inch shoulder slope. From that 1 inch, I'm going to get my armhole, which is 9, and my neck width 3, neck depth 3 for the front. This is the front. All right, so I'm going to connect this line. This line is going to be serving as my chest line, and extend it vertically, then connect to my neck width, and I'm going to curve my neckline this way. Okay, hope you guys understand. So now the next thing I'm going to do is to get my armhole curve. All right, so I'm going to take my bust points on my chest line. I divide my bust into 4, and I will add 1.5 inches seam allowance. All right, I'm going to extend the lines, and I will label my line chest line, bust point, under bust, and my waistline. So my waistline, I'm going to remember I said there is no dart on this. I'm going to divide my waist by 4, add my 1.5 inches seam allowance, and on the full length, I'm going to divide my hip divided by 4, and I will add 1.5 inch seam allowance. I will go ahead and connect the lines just the way you see me doing. All right, remember I said this is not my standard length. I'm still going to add my length when cutting on my pattern, when cutting on my fabric. All right, so I'll go ahead and cut this out before opening up my pattern. All right, so I'll cut this out. Then first of all, I'm going to transfer the points to the back. All right, I'll transfer the points to the back, my neckline, my shoulder, transfer them to the back. Then I'll go ahead and cut out. After cutting out, I'm going to cut out my shoulder slope, but don't cut your neckline yet. So guys, I'm going to open it up this way. Remember I said do not cut out your neckline yet. So I'm going to open it up this way. I'm just trying to use my pattern paper is not sitting properly, so I'm just trying to use things to hold it down. So I'm going to mark the lines, extend the lines that I have there. All right, the lines that I have on the other side, I'm going to extend it, and I will make sure your center line is showing, because as you can see, my center line is showing. The center of this pattern is visible. So these are the lines. I've extended it to the other side of the pattern. Then the next thing I'm going to do now is to cut out the shoulder slope. I'm going ahead to cut out the shoulder slope. Now I'm going to transfer mark my center line so you guys can be seeing it. So this is the center line. So in between, I have my 2 button allowance for my left hand side and my right hand side of my front shirt. Okay, so I'm going to get the neckline for the other side as well, just as I have on this other side, which is neck width 3 and neck depth 3. Remember, we are working on the front. Please, I want this tutorial to be very detailed. Okay, that is why I want the drafting part to be separate and the joining part to be separate. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do now is from the other side of the armhole. All right, from the other side of the armhole, you're going to curve. So that's what I'm trying to do. Just curve to the other side of the neck width, just this way. Can you see? Just this way. Hope you guys understand. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to get I will come out by 3 inches from this other side, and I'll connect it straight to the other button allowance. Can you see it? Like to the center of the button allowance. So come out by 3 inches or 3.5 or 2.5. Okay, however you want your extension to be, you connect it straight to the button allowance. Then the next thing I'm going to do is to get my extension. Then I'll take my neck width 3, which I have there. Then I'm going to come down by neck width 1.5. all right, and I'm going to get what I have there, and I have 3.5. I have 3.5 there. I'm going to use it as an extension for the front, because the front does not have any shoulder. This is a crisscross top. Okay, so I'll get a new pattern paper, put it under, so I can be able to get my extension. So I'll use my masking tape to hold it down, just the way you see me doing. All right guys, so use your masking tape, hold it down. Then after holding it down, that 3.5 inches you got for the other neckline, I'm going to extend it by that same 3.5 inches. All right, connect straight down, extend the other part 3.5 inches, and I will connect straight down. Okay, so this is it. This is my extension now. All right, with this, if you want to put your button, like button at the back, you can, like button at the neckline of the back to secure it down, you can. So I'll go ahead and cut this out. Now watch and see how I am cutting out this pattern. All right, so this other side, I'm going to cut it. Okay, so watch and see, please. The cutting is very important. Watch and see how I'm cutting it out. Okay guys, so this is the center. I'm going to cut this out. So this other part, we are not making use of it anymore. This other side, we are not making use of it anymore. We are making use of this one. So with this one, I'm going to cut my front. I'm going to use this to cut my front. That's both the right and the left for my front. Okay, I'm just trying to secure that part down. Hope you guys understand. So now I'll also use this to cut for my back as well. The only thing is that the back has like the back does not have any shoulder, so you're just going to cut out. The back is straight. You're just going to cut out from your chest line, depending on how deep you want your back to be. You just either you fold your chest line or you cut it out. If you want it to be deeper, you cut out from your bust point and you cut out the button allowance. That is it. That's how the back is going to be, and the back is going to be on fold. So guys, I'm going to cut on my pattern now, on my fabric now. Okay, so like I said before, you know the length of this pattern is not as long as what I want my top to be. So I'm going to be adding extra 9 inches on the length, on the full length. So but first of all, I'm going to mark the lines. See, one thing I'll tell you is, while making this top, you have to be very, very calculative, and you have to be like, you have to take it easy. All right, do not rush, because you might make mistakes. Okay, so I'm going to add extra 9 inches to the full length of this dress, because this dress of this top is going to have a full lining. Okay, so whatever your full length is, make sure you add extra 3 inches to it, so that way after turning your lining, you're going to get your exact length. So on the side, I'm going to add extra 1 inch, even though I've added my allowance to it. So I'm just going to add extra 1 inch on the side. Then on the other side, half inch. All right, for turning my lining piece. So I'll go ahead and cut this out. And please remember, my fabric, I didn't get it. It's not on fold. My fabric is not on fold. We're going to cut this pattern 2 times for the front. Okay, that is why I said you have to pay close attention to this cutting part. So I'm going to cut this out. My fabric is not on fold. I'm repeating it again. My fabric, it's not on fold. All right, so I'll go ahead and cut this out just the way you see me doing. Okay, so I'll cut this out, and I have my one side of my front. This is one side of my front, and after cutting it out, if your fabric does not have front and back, like all those fabric you can't indicate the front and back, make sure you use something to indicate your front, your back. So that's what I did. All right, I used my chalk to indicate my back. So instead of folding, you're going to fold it the other way around. Instead of folding it again, keeping it the other way you had to cut it, you're going to, if you notice now, the crisscross now is on this other side. All right, so when cutting again, you're going to flip it over to this other side. Now I'll get my pattern paper so you understand. Let's say my pattern paper is my fabric. This is the first fabric that I have gotten. that I had to cut out. My pattern paper now is my fabric. So this is it. So this is how it's going to look like. All right, this is how it's going to look like. Okay, but when you, and that is what I have. So let's say this one is my pattern paper is the first fabric I cut out. So if you do it like this, you're not going to get that crisscross. Do you get? So this is it. So let's say my pattern paper is that first one I cut out. My pattern paper is my fabric now. Now when you want to cut the other side, you have to flip it over to the other side for this other crisscross to be on this other side. I don't know if I'm making sense, honestly. I don't know. Well, I hope you guys understand. All right, so after cutting your first fabric, you're going to, when you want to cut the other side of your front, flip it over to the other side. Okay, so I'll go ahead and cut this. So with this, I have my two fronts complete. And I hope the explanation I gave earlier, it's well understood. But if you don't understand, leave your question down in the comment section, or you can rewind the video. All right, so guys, for the sake of this tutorial, I do not have a complete fabric. So the front, my back fabric, the color is totally different from this front. Okay, so so make sure you also get the back of this other side. All right, so this is the back. Now let me show you what I mean. Can you see? So this is the front side facing each other. When you put it together, front side facing each other, this is what you're going to get. Do you now understand what I meant by when cutting the second side of your front, you have to flip it over to the other side? So that is it. So I'm going to cut my back. So I'm going to get the pattern paper. I'll still use this pattern paper. Then I want my back deep, so I won't be maintaining the chest line. So if you want your back not too deep, just cut out on the chest line. Okay, cut out on the chest line. But me, I want my back deep, so I'll be cutting out on my bust point. All right, and I'm going to cut out the button allowance because the back is not going to have any button allowance. So I'm going to get my fabric. Okay, like I said before, the fabric for the back is not going to be the same with the one of the front. I'm just doing it for the sake of the tutorial, guys. I'm doing this for the sake of the tutorial. So I do not have enough fabric, but I really want to make someone requested for this tutorial actually. So this is my, though it's orange, but the two orange are different. All right, the two orange, the shade of the oranges are different. I said oranges, sorry. So this is my back. I'm also going to add 9 inches, just the way I did for the front. So I'll add 9 inches to my back, and my back is going to be on fold on my fabric. It's going to be on fold. Okay, so I'll go ahead and cut it out, and I'm also going to add 1 inch allowance on the side, just the way I did for the front. Please remember, this 9 inches I'm adding is the length of my dress, of my top. Is the length of my top. So understand that part. My pattern paper wasn't long enough. Okay, so I'm going to cut a facing for the back as well. You can use bias to turn your neckline for your back, but I'll be using a facing for mine. Hope you guys understand. So I'll place it and I'll cut through. I'll cut out my facing. My facing is going to stop somewhere around the armhole, around the waistline. All right, it's not going to be a full lining for the back, but the front is going to be a full lining. All right, so this is my front. Like I said before, I'm going to have a lining for this, a full lining for this too, for the front. We've come to the end of today's tutorial, and I hope you understand every bit of it. I hope you find it interesting and educating. Please, if you do not forget to give this video a thumbs up, share this video, and leave a nice comment. All right, so this on our next video, I'll be showing you how to put everything together. See you guys. Bye.